Good evening. Welcome to Jim's Lockdown Vlog, episode 39. Well, I'm dressed a bit differently tonight. You can see I've got a hat on. I'm wearing my Big Tribute t-shirt. And there are reasons for that. And I'm going to start off by getting myself a drink. Where have I put the bottle opener? Bear with me a second. Fetch the bottle opener. Sorry for that. Right. So brilliant Facebook Live. Nobody there. Noswaith da, as we would say in Wales. Good evening. I'm not in Wales. I'm at home. I should be in Wales, and I am gutted. As we know, lockdown is causing lots of changes to our life, and normally May Bank Holiday weekend, which it would normally be if it wasn't for the VE Day celebrations next weekend, I would be in the lovely mid-Welsh ancient capital of Machynlleth, which at this time of year normally hosts the Machynlleth Comedy Festival, which it has been my honour and privilege to be a member of the bar team for a number of years now. There's been 10 years of Machynlleth Comedy Festival. I've not been there since the start, but I have been there for, I've lost count, a good few years now. And God, I miss it. I miss it so much. But the sensible thing, the proper thing, of course, is we've got to follow the guidance. We've got to do the right thing. We've got to be sensible. We don't want to spread coronavirus. As the organisers of Machynlleth Comedy Festival said, normally there would be people from all over the UK coming into Machynlleth, a small town in the middle of Wales, for the festival, and it's just not practical or sensible. It wouldn't, well, at the moment it's illegal, but at any rate it would endanger the lives of local residents. It would risk moving the virus around to places where it isn't. So, definitely not something that needs to be happening. But I am gutted, and I can see that there are at least 3 members of fellow bar staff from Festival Life who are watching now, and they will know when you've got something that happens every year and something that you look forward to every year and it doesn't happen, it's gutting. And I know lots of us will be experiencing that in lots of different ways, whether it's shows that we're involved with, whether it's holidays that we normally go on, whether it's Easter celebrations with family, whatever, birthdays. There's lots of things we're all going to be missing and not doing like we normally do. And for me, that's one of those things is this weekend, because I should be in Machynlleth, as should Facebook Matt, and Trev has worked it with us, and several others. And, we would all be there, and we'd all be enjoying the festival and all be working, but we're not. And it's the best thing that we can do. But to my comrades in arms and to everybody else who is missing out on something they would normally be doing, Iechyd da, or cheers for the English, here's to that. But Jim, or Fester, as some of you know me, you're not wearing Machynlleth Comedy Festival outfit. You're not drinking from a Machynlleth Comedy Festival cup. You're drinking from a Big Tribute Festival cup. You're wearing a Big Tribute crew hat, and you're wearing a Big Tribute 2012, the inaugural year t-shirt. And the reason for that is that despite the fact that the Tribute Festival normally happens at August Bank Holiday weekend, and despite the fact that's still a long way away, our organisers and very, very dear friends of mine have had to take the decision to be sensible and do what's right and say, well, before we even get there, having 5,000 people congregating a field in mid-Wales just would not be responsible. Again, you were taking a load of people moving around the country, and even, the government haven't said that far ahead what's happening, but it's not responsible, and the decisions had to be taken. So,— Big Tribute Festival, which is a massive part of my year, It's something I really look forward to. I've got family. They are family. They're that close to me, who are part of that big tribute crew. And I'm not going to be there this year because it's not happening, and that makes me very sad. But it's the right thing to be done. It's the sensible thing to be done. So I'm wearing my big tribute gear. I've just filmed a clip for a big tribute little filmette that a couple of us sending to each other, and we are going to be meeting up a few of the bar staff. We're going to meet up at 7 o'clock after I've once I've done my video. Once I've done my vlog, I'm going to be doing sorry, I've got distracted then because my nan's just tried to video chat with me, and I'm obviously making the vlog, so I've had to decline her. So Nan, if I think Nan, you're watching this at the same time, but Nan, I'll speak to you soon, but I'm a bit busy just this minute. I got thrown off. What was I saying? Right, so yeah, no, I've completely lost the plot. Let's move on, because it's going to look silly if I just carry on blithering and going, what was I talking about? So yeah, big tribute's not happening. I'm saddened, but it's the right thing to do. That's what I was going to say. At 7 o'clock tonight, there's going to be a group of us bar staff who are going to get together on Zoom and just raise a glass to the fact that our team isn't going to get together this year. So, yeah, but there we go. It's sad news, but it's the sensible decision. It's the right decision, and I completely understand why it's had to be taken. So that's let's get past that little sad bit there, and I'm not going to talk about coronavirus tonight. I'm not going to talk too much about lockdown. I want to talk about some happy things. So firstly, my absolute and I suppose this is slightly coronavirus because it's related, but my favourite news story I've had today is there's an aquarium in Tokyo. You're going to love this. There's an aquarium in Tokyo who are really worried about their garden eels. Now, garden eels are about 30 to 40 centimetres long, and they live in the sand. And these garden eels normally, like, poke their heads out. They look really cute. And the garden eels are forgetting about people. So now, when the keepers go to check on them, they all dive into the sand and hide because someone turns up. And they're used to thousands of people staring in the glass, and they're quite used to it. But now they've forgotten about people, and they're starting to hide again. And it's making it really hard for the Tokyo keepers to check that the eels are okay. So, this is amazing. The Tokyo Aquarium are asking people to video chat. I love it. The Tokyo Aquarium are asking people to phone in and video chat with the eels, even though the eels aren't going to say anything back to you, but just so that the the eels don't forget what it's like to have lots of people looking at them. And I think that's amazing. That's brilliant. So yes, if you're bored and you've got nothing better to do, and you're worried, you're feeling like you need to do something, you can video chat with eels in an aquarium in Tokyo. Make the eels feel not so lonely. That's amazing. Right. Today I went out in the car. I drove to the local, it's called the National Forest Adventure Farm. They've got a farm shop there, and to cope with the lockdown scenario, they've started a drive-through, a farm shop drive-through, which is a brilliant concept. And I went and fetched some eggs and a bit of meat and stuff that we needed. And on the way, I saw a horse chestnut tree. Now, not my favourite tree, the horse chestnut. I've got, but it is by far and away my favourite blossom. The horse chestnut blossom is stunning. And this tree was in full bloom, and it looked incredible. If you don't know what horse chestnut blossom looks like, after this, go and look it up. It's one of my favourite flowers. Horse chestnut blossom. It's a beautiful blossom. And when a horse chestnut tree is in full blossom, it's pink and white and stunning and beautiful. And that was a real high point of the day for me, seeing that. It's one of my favourite sights of this time of the year. And it made me think about today and what today is. And I thought, right, I'm going to talk to you all today about that. So for those of you who don't know, today is the pagan festival, pagan feast of Beltane. Now, Beltane happens roughly halfway between the spring equinox, when night and day are the same length, and the summer solstice, when the day is its longest. And it has, for a long, long time, been regarded as the start of summer. Okay? Now, I think that's a brilliant time of year. I love the fact that there's a feast to celebrate the start of summer. And it's, it's, what brilliant, I mean, just now, it's not been the brightest of days, but just now the sun is streaming through my window. I'm struggling to keep my eyes open, it's that bright, but I'm letting it because I love it. It's warm, it's lovely. It's reminding me that summer is here, summer is starting. It's about to get better, folks. The summer is coming. And, well, how is Beltane celebrated? How's it celebrated? Let's look at that. So, it would in the olden times, it was seen, listen to me, in ancient times, the Beltane festival was seen as a time of the beginning of summer and was symbolic with a lot of fertility, and a lot of the rites and rituals are based around the farming practices. So the crops are starting to come up. We're driving the cattle out to the summer pastures and leaving them. And so there were lots of rites for the protection of cattle, cattle, crops and people. And one of the rites would be that you would have bonfires. There were special Beltane bonfires. And these bonfires were seen to have special properties. The fire, the flame, the ash, everything about it had this special property and protective properties. And cattle would be driven in between the fires to protect them before they went out into the summer pastures. People would walk in a sunwise direction, so from east to west, around the fire to get themselves protection. And in some instances, people would jump over the fires as well. The ashes would be used in protective spells and rites. And on top of that, it's one of my favourite traditions. So it was common practice for the fire to never be let go out in your house. In these times, the fire in your dwelling would be kept going all the way through the winter. You'd never let it go out. And what they would do at Beltane is they would douse the fire. The fire in the hearth in the home would be put out. It'd be doused. And they would rebuild the fire, and they would relight it by bringing a burning branch from the Beltane bonfire, this special magical fire. Bring that and light the fire with that. And I love that symbolism. It's beautiful. As I said, they were seen to have protective powers for people, cattle, and they used to decorate their houses for Beltane. So like we have Christmas decorations now, for Beltane, the pagans used to decorate their houses, and they would be decorated with yellow flowers, because you'd have flowers like hawthorn blossom, which is quite often white now, but older hawthorn was a little bit yellow. So you'd have hawthorn, gorse, primrose, hazel blossom, marsh marigold, and all of this would be used to decorate cattle, people, houses, and look beautiful. And on top of that, you'd also then have the tradition of visiting holy wells. So holy wells were often visited as part of the Beltane blessings, and lots of well-dressing ceremonies come from that. Lots of little villages in England used to have well dressings, and that comes from the rite of Beltane. And also, you'd have offerings left at the wells. So coins would be left at the wells, and it's pretty much widely agreed that the tradition of throwing a coin into a well for luck comes from this rite of leaving coins at the Beltane wells, the holy wells. Now, also, the well water would be seen as being very, very protective, very beautiful. It was seen to increase youthfulness and beauty, and also sex appeal. Yeah, drinking the wells from this Beltane well water at Beltane would give you extra sexiness, and this would be harder to collect, but the dew the dew that was found on the morn of Beltane was seen to be particularly potent in promoting beauty and youthfulness and vigour and sex appeal. So if you're struggling on the dating scene, getting yourself a cup of dew water this morning would have been absolutely perfect. And then, of course, the rite I suppose most of us English are familiar with to do with May Day is the maypole and dancing around the maypole. Now, there's lots and lots of different thoughts about where the maypole comes from, and lots of people I know think that the maypole is in fact a giant phallus. Yes, we get children to dance around a giant penis in the middle of the village green and wrap it in ribbons. That's a commonly held belief, but lots of scholars disagree with that. Lots of scholars think actually the maypole stems much earlier, back into Norse times, and is probably representative of Yggdrasil, the world tree from Norse mythology. So yeah, there's a bit of information about Beltane, the Feast of Beltane, which is today. So Beltane blessings to you all, blessed be. And, it's the start of summer. And I'm not going to talk about that absolute idiot Donald Trump, and I'm not going to talk about the politics here in a minute, and I'm not going to talk about coronavirus, because I've done loads and loads of that. What I'm going to talk about is what I've talked about, how beautiful a time of year it is, how wonderful it is outside at the minute. Life is coming back to the planet in absolute oodles at the minute. We've got blossoming on the trees, flowers are coming back into full force. I talked yesterday about the fact that mental health is something that's taking a bit of a battering at the minute. And the way to combat that, the way to deal with mental health, and I got sad news this morning, not sad in the way that other friends have had in terms of loss of family members or dear friends, but something I've highlighted in my ear has been cancelled because of this. And I had a bit of a wobble this morning. I was like, oh. But I picked myself up and I've gone out and I've spent time amongst flowers and I've seen how beautiful the world is, and spend time outdoors and take this time, make the most of this time. We've got more time than we would normally have at the minute, and that's a brilliant opportunity to make the most of it, to spend time appreciating things, to spend extra time with family, to do something new, to learn an instrument, to learn a language, to read books you've been putting off, to get jobs that you've been done, to get jobs done that you've been putting off, to really appreciate and find the silver linings, because there are loads, and we're all going through a tough time. And I've rung around people today and checked in on people I've not spoken to in a while, and I'll continue to do that. And I ask you all to keep checking in on people. All of you, please keep checking up on people and make sure everyone's okay. That's really important. And help them be okay by celebrating this time of year. Give someone some yellow flowers, because it's Beltane, and Beltane blessings to everyone. And I sound like a hippie, and some of you might think I'm daft or crazy or mental. And do you know what? I don't care, because I'm happy. And that's really important. So I'm going to finish there. There's no joke tonight, because I don't think there needs one tonight. But to all of you, Beltane blessings. Raise a glass, be happy. Celebrate the start of summer, because it's here. Be kind, keep smiling, and stay positive. Captain's Vlog, episode 39, signing off. Live long and prosper.